Hey, welcome to
Hey,
another typology interview. We have Asa. How's it going, man?
hi. Good, great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing good. What are those books behind you there?
Oh, that's my
Just noticing that
grandma's.
now. Okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
some kind of Jewish
Right.
encyclopedia. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
What?
I'm hearing
That's me?
I'm hearing some disturbance.
It should be better there. It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's better now.
Um,
Oh,
so-
listen, I'm hearing some of our previous conversation running in the background.
okay, so maybe someone in your house is watching the conversation?
No.
No? Um,
Oh,
oh, internet dropped. Yay, one ISTP. How's it going? So that's what happened. And we got dead air. How's it going, everyone? Maybe anyone has questions to fill the time. So I don't. How's it going, Stalio protocol? And hey, Asura. Here we go. He's back.
okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I had my I had my YouTube open. So
There you go. See, I was
yeah,
right. Someone in your house
yeah,
was.
someone, yes, it was me. So glad to be here again.
Yeah.
And
Do
glad
you want to
to
start with
finally be on
just telling
your
me your
channel.
history and typology a little bit?
Well, it goes long ago. I was actually starting with MBTI, like most of us. I've come across many NLP lectures, and I was learning about NLP by myself through lectures, and they were talking about different ways in which we perceive or we judge, and I was so intrigued by this new knowledge that can actually explain some of our thought process. So I dug deeper, and I found MBTI, and I took the test, and like many of us, I was typed as INTJ, obviously. Um, and only recently I've come across with OP after trying to understand myself better in the field of dating, because I was noticing that I have certain problems regarding my identity. I realized that there's something missing in me that I need to understand what it is. And I saw it mostly in the dating arena, since everything else in my life seemed to go quite, I don't know, easy. Like I, I didn't have any problem like learning or managing myself in jobs or friends or sports. Just this issue.
Right.
So yeah.
Did you do you identify now with the type you got? Because I know you identified with INTJ first.
Yeah. And while learning about OP system, I have self-tagged myself as INTJ. Still influenced by the folklore about INTJs, which I was so identified with. The anecdotes, like those lone wolves who uh, are so preoccupied with systems and understanding, and not with people, like my demon Effie. So yeah, I've typed myself as a INTJ with completely backwards animals. And when I have had my conversation with Shan, which is how I was typed, not by the
Right.
usual,
Yeah.
So she was, it's kind of funny. She was so gentle with me. She said, "Listen, we're gonna go over it really slowly, and we're gonna do the easy parts first." And I was like, "Just give me the time. I just want to know what I am." And she just she went through it really gently and considerably. And yeah, I totally relate with my type, because it makes total sense. It makes much more sense with than than INTJ, than NITE.
Yeah. I'm just we'll go through it. I'm just wondering if there's like a little bit of confirmation bias going on there, where like you saw yourself as one type, and now you've told you something else. You're seeing yourself here. Do you? Yeah, go ahead.
There's always this problem with the possibility of confirmation bias. But look, I was even telling her that, look, it doesn't matter what type I am. What matters is, do I have can I get any solutions out of it? Does it work? Like, TI works. Does it work? And the things that she told me that I have actually problems with, that I actually have problem with are the things that I was reluctant to actually share with her. So I was quite amazed that she saw the things that I was, well, in retrospect, was trying to maybe hide from her and from myself, like my actual problem with FE, my inability to actually sit still, and I mean, these are problems that I'm dealing with, and I was telling myself lies that I'm good at it. I thought I was good at planning because I'm always in my head planning and thinking about stuff, but that's not OP planning. That's not narrowing down my options. And I saw whatever I want to see in OP's terms. So my confirmation bias was definitely about my INTJ identity.
This thought always goes through my head that maybe there's no such thing as typology. Maybe there's no such thing as type. And
in a sense, there isn't.
Yeah. Well, obviously, yeah. But then they could just say you're this type, and then we'll see ourselves in that type. Like this. So I'm just wondering if, like, what's going on with that? Maybe, I don't know, because you saw yourself clearly as NI Dom, and now you see yourself as TI Dom. I'm bringing in the thinking here.
Okay, and perhaps we should also say that we've been speaking before this interview and before I was typing, and I was seeking your help in typing myself before before I called Chan. So I was actually trying to convince you over the phone that I am NITE because it made sense, and if it made sense, then I can use it. I can walk by it, but what Shen gives me so much more tools to actually engage my actual fears. And I think that it relates to your question that I see throughout your interviews you really like asking, which is, what is truth for you, right? So I think that in this particular instance, truth about personality types or personality typing is as true as long as it gives you something to work with, and as long as you can confirm it with other people. This is as far as you can go as being, true to your type.
That's interesting, because that to me resonates as a TE philosophy, not a TI philosophy. But wow. Yeah, I'm just wondering where that's coming from, because
it pertains to this. You're saying it because it pertains to objective truth and view of other people of what is truth,
and also how, like, type is only as useful as it works, whereas, like,
I see it,
I'm looking for like TI is looking for truth, not what works, right?
Okay, so yeah, but first of all, let's go back a little. I don't think it's TE. I think it's TI coupled with SE, because I think that TI seeks with SE the confirmation from others. So it's still TI. I mean, I'll get the confirmation from others, and I'll get to decide if it speaks to me. For example, I was asking close relatives and friends how they view me, and some of them I just didn't buy their bullshit about me, because they were nice lying to me, or they were trying to or I just knew that they weren't actually giving me the answer that is true, but the answer that they want to say, that they want to hear them saying. So it still have this element of, listen, you give me the truth and I want the truth from you, but I'll still decide for myself whether I'm taking it in or not. but you're pertaining to something else about like the the phenomena of truth or the definition of truth.
Well, okay. So let's put it this way. Let's say someone gives me a theory about fairies and how there's these invisible fairies all out in the world. And if you behave in a certain way, then the good fairies will grant you benefit. And then, right, it just makes up this whole story, right? Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
true. Yeah, obviously it's not true, but maybe it works. And maybe this system they created works perfect. And if you abide by it, it can help you with your growth and convince you and make you a better person, right? And so basically what you're telling me typology is the same thing as these fairies.
No.
And for me as a TI user, that doesn't work. Like if you're talking to me about fairies, I'm not going to believe you. I'm not going to use it, even though it works, even though it'll make my life 100% better. I'm just going to throw it out the window because it's not true.
So first of all, I want to say that I'm personally offended by how you speak about fairies. That's first of all.
Oh, okay.
And, okay, good. I'm pleased now. And no, I think that, well, yeah, it is true to a certain extent, because let's talk about prayer, for example. Okay.
Sure.
Does prayer works? Well, it depends. Does it work as you think it works? Well, maybe not, because I'm an atheist and I see that you're not. But even as an atheist, I think that prayer works not by the defined religious mechanism that religious.
Well, what's the defined religious mechanism? Because I've got a mechanism that seems to show that it works, even though it's not.
On a psychological mechanism rather than on. Okay,
but that's what the religion says about it too.
Yeah. Okay. So this is new to me, but okay. So let's say that we're comparing the religious view that prayer works by the mechanism of some greater entity actually hearing your prayers and abiding by them, versus the mechanism of the human psychology of talking to something in your unconscious and actually bringing forth. Okay, so prayer works, but it doesn't make this entity that you may believe in true, nor does it make, I mean, let's say that there isn't such thing as psychology. It doesn't make this true, but in effect, the effect that you can actually measure in real life is true. So prayer works, and therefore it has something true in it. So it doesn't have to be, completely true or completely aligned with some universal truth. It's just, there are certain layers to truth. There isn't such, I don't think that there is such thing as capital T truth.
Okay, so what is there?
What do you mean? What is there?
So then what are you looking for in life? What are you searching for? What are you
Depends
distilling?
on the context. Well, first of all, I'm looking for money and having fun, obviously. I mean, I'm not looking for truth. Okay. No, seriously, I'm you mean when I'm looking for truth, what am I looking for?
No, not when.
Okay.
Like I'm just saying as a TI, it doesn't stop. It's something that's constant, all ever present. That the search and quest for truth is something that's not, it's like if someone were to come and tell you something, you automatically disagree, you automatically challenge it, you automatically question it, because that's what you're built to do.
Well, first of all, if we're asking it defined by TI, that let's abide by OP's definition of what is actually TI.
Part of TI have a definition.
Maybe, well, it's a decider by thinking my thoughts and reasons. No, it isn't it? But
but that's not a definition. That's an expression, right? OP is trying to catch your expression.
Okay. So I'm actually coupling the expression with the definition, just like with the prayer analogy. I mean, we can't actually always know the underlying mechanisms under everything.
Okay, but it's you. It's who you are. Like you have an underlying mechanism to you, and like the OP is going to come along and be like, "You're TI." Okay, but what does that mean? That's what you have to discover. That's your life's journey.
Yeah, but not everything we can discover. Not everything we can actually reason. Like we don't have the the tools to discover it, to define it, to
But does
measure
that
it.
mean you shouldn't try? Does that mean do you have no idea of what
I'm
it is?
fascinated by this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this whole field of research. For example, I was actually, I wanted to learn brain sciences and cognition, and I was actually at one time in my life actually making practical steps towards doing it. Later deciding to do something else, but this is something that I constantly trying to learn about, and the more I learn, I understand that. I think that what you're saying is the actual me, or the truth of me, my identity, is something that, in a certain level, is like researching a black hole. Not because I'm hollow, because
Black holes aren't
sometimes,
hollow. It's the opposite. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, they're very dense, yes, but I mean, they're, with the tools we have and the knowledge we have this far, it's very hard to understand what is it exactly that's inside our consciousness that makes a consciousness what it is. So all we can do is pertain to the consciousness expressions.
Yep.
And this is what I'm actually doing right now. So,
right,
which is very TISE, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
you're,
yeah. So then how do you see your TI express itself then? How do you see
like in the way we're arguing right now? I mean, we're we're a bunch of TIs.
right. But like I can see that you're rationalizing. Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Is
wondering.
your question? Are you trying with your question to focus on the difference between being an NITE versus being a TI?
No, I'm trying to just see how your TI, how you see your TI express itself.
Okay.
And I'm just not quite seeing TI yet.
Okay. So the way I see TI is in my life, also in others, which is by what I understand as OP's definition of TI, is that
I don't care about OP's definition. I care about reality. And
okay,
I care about you, and people want to hear about your expression of how you experience TI, because we can learn about OP from OP, but here we're here to learn from Asa. How does TI express itself in Asa?
Okay, good point. I'll try to answer this question.
Sure.
The same way I would before I knew OP. It's interesting because I'm very occupied with defining myself throughout the day. I write a lot about what makes a person, what makes a human being, what makes an identity, for example. What makes us omniscient and not omniscient. What gives us this sense of agency, and what makes our agency. And when I'm questioned about it now, I'm actually out of words. I mean, I can't actually. Yeah. So, but I'll try, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
I think part of it is it comes down to what you believe in, what you want, the principles in which you by which you act, and that's it, I think.
So what principles do you act by?
I wouldn't say I act by these principles, but these are the principles that I perhaps for the most profess to have, which are
sure.
Well, first of all, one have to believe in something. One have to have reasons and some direction in life. That's
okay.
The first principle. Second,
I agree with it. I'm just wondering why you think you have to believe in something.
You don't have to believe it, but I mean, why? What do you mean? Why would you have to believe it, or in something?
Well, you said the first principle is you need to believe in something.
Oh, I mean, you have to. to actually want something and know where you're going. It's like self-directive, like self-directiveness.
There's many lost people though that don't know what they want and don't know what they
Yeah.
believe. And
Okay, so I think in this way I actually answer your original question. If I don't have this
yeah,
sense of self-direction, that I feel lost and out of
there you
my
go.
identity. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so I'll try to continue answering by this chance. So I feel that I'm losing myself, or it actually feels like dying, actually,
Okay.
which is quite indicative. When when I when I'm not acting by my truth, I mean, when I'm lying or lying to myself or missing the truth or not fighting hard enough to actually know the truth. For example, there are things that I rather not know about myself, but I push through it because I'd feel so much worse if I won't. I feel lost and out of myself when I don't know what I'm here on this planet, what I'm here to do on this planet, what I'm here to do with my life.
And have you found that? Is that something you're still searching for?
To an extent, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be hard for me to explain it, but
yeah.
I mean, let it try, if I may. And there's something about practicing my will, practicing my sense of like acting in this world, like bringing myself forth with action. And
like you said before, agency, autonomy.
Yeah, agency and autonomy. Yeah. So yeah, these are the things that I feel like make up my identity. So
yeah, so that's kind of like a little bit the freedom side of the coin too.
Yeah.
Do you
by the way, part of it is that I actually have to explain myself all these in words. I have these weird lists, which I was referring to earlier, about what makes a person, what makes me, what do I believe in, what are my visions, or I mean, I have to have all these things defined, and have always had to have all these things defined. Otherwise, I feel like I'm losing myself. Like this gives me some kind of a real base to my identity in this real world.
Like defining your goals, defining
having these definitions written. So
because you do okay. So you have that feminine SE, right? And so maybe so maybe do you think writing it down will help that SE see it in front of you?
I think it's a combination of the coin of inferior NI with
tertiary
NI. I don't know how to use these.
I get it. I'm just correcting you. So
I have low NI, which is masculine, with a stronger SE that is feminine. So, So I think it feels like constant battle of reaching some kind of sense of stability in identity.
Do you see yourself as responsible to reality?
What do you mean responsible to reality?
Responsible
to my reality?
To what is reality objectively? Do you feel that?
Do you mean if I'm responsible to know what's real and what's not? Yes. Totally. Do you mean that? Okay. Totally.
How do you see, like, so that example I gave with like the fairies, for example, right? Now, joking aside, I'm not going to insult the fairies. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But let's say someone brought up some absurd idea that's not fairies, but some other idea.
Okay.
That doesn't match reality.
Yeah. I'm already getting annoyed just thinking about it. Yeah. It shakes my being. Yeah.
Right.
Like hearing people saying nonsense about I don't know. I work as a personal trainer.
Social worker. personal trainer?
Yeah, yes, I'm a social worker, apparently, as a demon FE, and
Okay.
I'm also a personal trainer. And in training, it's also it's almost insulting for me to hear someone talking about some theory that it isn't true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take it personal. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
and
so
I feel
what that is.
responsible to to
Yeah.
educate other people. And this is what I thought was
Yeah.
TE. I thought I was so responsible to educate other people about the real theory, which I know, by the way, because I know everything. So yeah, and I'm very forceful about it because I'm
Yeah.
masculine TI. So I'm very. I mean, I think at least I view myself as forceful when it comes to these things.
So what that is usually any or some kind of concept that's incorrect, right?
Yeah.
Some kind
Yeah.
of idea that's being thrown around you. And
Yeah.
for us, this concept is personal. It's like it's
Yeah. Yeah. It
real.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just throwing around this half concocted idea that
Which they believe in, by the way,
it just
which is also insulting.
yeah, it's exactly, and it rubs us the wrong way, and it's like fingers on a chalkboard sort of feeling when you hear this
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
and
It's like something is wrong with the world. If you think that way, that someone is not doing their job, because you have to know the truth. So yeah,
right,
you
but
see
we
this face
realize,
out of me right now.
yeah, but you realize like it's a delusion, right? Like that's just their way their cognition works, and them throwing us around the way they work. It's like it's
I
hard.
see that. I don't feel that way. Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to get over it somehow to
I'm trying to.
accept
Yeah.
people. Yeah, it's hard.
It's a work in progress. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
It is.
yeah.
By the way, I'm
No, I
actually trying
identify
to
with that
breathe.
100%.
Yeah. Someone is talking about, I don't know, how to do squats, and I'm looking from the side, and I'm just telling to myself, just you're not responsible for this. You're not responsible for this. Just let them be. Let them be. If they'll do something that actually put the
They
training knees in.
think wrong. Let them think wrong. It's not your job to make them think right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is, by the way. I mean, I actually do feel that it is my job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I get
it's
that.
hard. Yeah.
I'm not sure I understood this question. It's a while back. I think depending on sexuals, MTI and okay. No, she had a question here. Here it is. I have a question for the ISTPs. Do you think makes it easy for other people to like you?
What makes other people to like us?
Yeah.
What the previous
do you think,
note?
in general, do you think people like you as an ISTP?
Well, it's kind of embarrassing for me to say, but yeah, I think people like me.
Really?
I think it's something about me being feminine, being double F. But I've been hearing throughout my life that people like me, so I
Good for
have
you.
this confirmation.
Hate me, so it's good.
And I'm always surprised, by the way. I'm always surprised to hear that, to see how much people like me, and yeah, there's always this feeling that why? I mean, what's to like, or what exactly do you see that you like? Because I'm always so hard on myself. So yeah, TI wise, masculine
Right.
TI wise. But I think we're missing something about her question, which he was.
I think there was a typo or something.
No, I think she wrote something in the previous note, and then she asked the question.
Previous note was actually a later note. I scrolled up for.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So I wasn't. Yeah. So yeah.
What about that inferior FE? Do you notice that you get tribe tidal waves? That you make you're not extroverted enough with your feelings. You're not caring enough for people, and it comes back at you. You're creating a void.
I don't feel that I care less about people. What I do feel is that I have problem with
showing it.
Well, first of all, it's hard for me to show it. Yeah.
And putting the energy in other people constantly.
Putting the energy time-wise. Putting the time, putting the time with other people. Now, I do put the time with people that I like, and there are many people that I actually care for and like, and I would do many things to help them, and I'm there for them whenever they need. But I'm not. It's hard for me to stay in touch and keep up the demon state, trying to explain.
The interest, them and stuff.
I was never interested in like sitting with others, like in class, in recess, and just do stuff. I was always in and of my into myself and into my own world, and I would meet people, but it would be like an occasion for me. It would be like, I'm now seeing you, and this will take like 2 hours, and then I'm gone. And yeah, it's a recurring thing in my life that I'm
Can
really.
you just be a little more clear on what you meant by it'll take 2 hours, like 2 hours downtime afterwards?
In my head, seeing other people takes energy.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm putting like these boundaries for myself. Like, okay, this meeting will take like 1 hour or 3 hours, and then I'll be free from this burden of actually being with other people. Now,
Yeah.
look, I'm a social worker. Okay, I work with people. I'm a personal trainer. I work with people. I study OP. I am very interested in other people, but
Right.
it's just,
Training.
yeah, it's draining, and I'm also very intense with other people. So sometimes I'm the one who makes them feel like tired. But I feel like it's so much more easy for me to be by myself with my own interests, and and this is, by the way, one of the reasons that I have thought I am an INTJ, because I think that all the folklore about INTJs, I think most of the time, actually describes TIs, but this is just my view.
Yeah. So one of the things I have to get over by being with other people is I would much rather be doing something else right now. I would much rather be working on my own thing. I would much rather be doing something else. And like, it's always at the back of my mind. It's always a feeling I'm wasting my time being here with these people.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say this, but this is the truth. Yes.
Yeah.
And I know it makes us come across as assholes, but it is really important for me to also express that this is not out of lack of concern for other people. And I know this sounds like a major peacock right now, but
okay. So I can say it for you if you want me to. Yeah.
You may start, please. Yes.
Yeah. So the time that you spend on your own thing, quote unquote, is actually for the people.
Not always.
Not always.
But
okay.
Not always. But I find myself caring immensely and get very offended or very hurt when I see someone close to me getting hurt, and I find myself being very, hey,
yeah,
you cut off. Okay,
I heard very hurt when you see someone close to you.
I get very emotionally. How do you say muf'al? Like
yeah,
in English,
activated. I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, or animated. I mean, by their ordeals, and yeah, I mean, this is what I actually do as a social worker. I mean, I see problems in the world, and I'm actually I get myself involved, like emotionally, with other people, and try to actually
like
fix
swept
their
up
problems.
Their problems, swept up into their life.
Yeah, sometimes too much, which is the imbalance. So I'm actually personally am quite confused about this imbalance between having this allegedly strong identity versus this weak tribe feelings, because I do find myself sometimes losing my identity in other people. So this is something that the only way I can understand it by OP's terms is that this is just a great imbalance. Doesn't matter whether you're, on this side of the coin or not.
Yeah.
Or the other.
Do you find it hard to also maybe set boundaries with people?
Yeah. but that's, I think, is part of my feminine FE.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's also being swept up
I,
into feminine FE too, like just
yeah,
giving yourself
yeah,
over to 100% and being too.
that makes sense. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yes, I find it hard to give clear boundaries, but I do manifest this cat energy that
Right.
I don't like the things how they are, and I don't say anything, and then I just leave,
Right.
which which is something that I really try to
Yeah, the
work
cat
on.
energy where like if you don't set the boundaries, like
Yeah,
that's what the masculine DE does, is it sets those boundaries. So if you
yeah.
don't end up setting them,
Then your
then
masculine
they'll keep,
DI then
they'll
just
keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you finally push back.
yeah. And when I
Yeah.
do, it's a tidal wave.
Yeah, it's a tidal wave. Yep. That's
Yeah.
right. Um, and it always comes off as like so unexpected. Like people don't see where it's coming from because you're
It's unexpected. Yeah, it's totally unexpected for other people.
for other
Every time
people.
yeah.
For me, I'm giving warnings. I'm sure for you too, you're giving warnings. You're like,
I
cut it,
think I'm
stop
giving
it.
warnings, but
Yeah.
yeah, but to be true and honest with myself, I'm not actually saying the things as they are. I mean,
Right.
I'm trying not to get into, like clashes with other people. So yeah,
Right.
and it's kind of confusing because I see myself as very very masculine, very, I know what I know what I believe in, and then what is your problem about telling
Right.
that
And
to
that's the
others?
problem too. If it's not contradicting your truth, if it's not contradicting anything, then you
Yeah,
just go on with it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just
It's only
too
when
many
it's
things that,
contradicting something that's true that you can actually fight back. But like, if it's not doing that, we're useless. Our hands are tied.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, what you're seeing here, by the way, is two blessed lasts waiting for each other to ask questions.
I think we're playing. We're doing good.
Yeah,
Do you see yourself as blast last? Is that definitely a struggle that you have?
totally. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is
How do you see
yeah.
that express itself?
Well, first of all, it's hard for me to express myself with words. That's
Yeah.
and have always been.
But I mean, blast is not only just talking; it's more
Yeah,
like
controlling the
control.
tribe,
Yeah.
staying in touch, telling people where I am and what I'm about.
Right. Yeah.
And like in my work, I don't tell people what I do. I just do the things that I know
Yeah.
I have to do, and just rely on them actually knowing that, as a fact. So I'm yeah, and then people are actually getting annoyed with me that they're thinking that I'm not doing my job, and then I show them,
Right.
look, I did all this. What are you talking about? So they're asking, well, why didn't you tell us? And only after having this realization of blast last, I realized that I really suck at this. I mean,
Right.
I don't see this as my responsibility, and I I see this as a game, like as a politics game. Like I have to actually brag and say, look what I
Yeah.
did. You have
Yeah.
to
True.
know what I did. No, you don't have to know what I did because I did it. It's that what matters.
So I had
So
I had a similar situation when I was in university. I was living in a house with 7 other guys, and we all had to contribute to the chores. So like every so often,
okay.
I would do the chores. I would empty the
Mhm.
dishwasher. I would do the dishes, stuff like that. And then one day they would come to me and they'd be like, "You don't do anything around the house." I'm like, "What are you talking
Mhm.
about? I do tons of stuff." They're like,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, what do you do?" And I'm like listing all the stuff I do, and they're like, "No, you don't." They don't believe me. And so
Yeah.
one day I got caught putting dishes away, and they're like, "You actually do stuff." I was like, "Yeah,
Fuck you. Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah." So
I don't. Yeah. Um. I don't know if this is part of it, but I'm not posting anything on Facebook. I'm not part of Instagram. I'm not.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah. I hate
but
bragging.
yeah, same, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
it feels wrong. It feels like just do your job, shut up, and people will just come to recognize your
Right,
greatness and your
but you're
magnitude. Yeah,
right,
and then I'll be seen for the wonder I am once I
right.
just get enough of it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I also feel like okay, so there's the whole idea of the social dynamic, right? Are you
Okay.
aware a little bit of with social dynamics and what happens in groups and things like that? Or
Retrospective, yes.
right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
In the moment, no.
Many times I find myself sleeping about things that have
Right.
happened just like 10 minutes ago, and just realizing that I was actually behaving like a total asshole. Yeah, and
Like so
feeling.
sometimes when things go on too and you can recognize them, you can see the social dynamics, but like you don't even know what to do to counter them or to yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I know what's going on, and I have this feeling that, well, no, you don't. You have no idea what's going on, and
Right.
having since I'm working in this field of social work, so I work with lots of other sensitive women therapists and other social workers. So I'm always finding myself like on the on the bottom of the food chain in this regard.
Right.
So I'm actually relying on other people to actually tell me what exactly is going on.
Right. So then
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed also like people talking bad about you behind your back and spreading rumors and things like that. Does that
No,
happen
no,
sometimes?
I don't think that it's a defining feature of my life. No,
No.
but
Okay.
I do sometimes ignore it much more than I should. Um, for example, I have this only one anecdote. When I was working in the gym, some trainer spread rumors about me, and I just didn't want to engage it, to engage anything about it. So it just spread and spread, and I just had to eventually, engage the person and actually,
Right. Yeah.
uh, yeah.
Uh,
So
so like that's something I never identified with doing that to people as well. I don't know. Have you do you ever do that? Spread rumors about people or
um, no, I mean it's not something that
connected to the bragging? It's connecting to that. It's like the same
yeah,
thing.
I don't like this dirty social game. I think
Right.
it's like Dave says, it feels like lying. It feels like a game, and I don't like it. It feels fake.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I really appreciate authenticity about other people and myself as far as I can manage using it. So yeah,
Right.
so and I like myself as I mean, the more I can be authentic with myself and other people, the more I appreciate myself.
Mhm.
So uh, you know,
Okay, so why don't we talk a little bit about maybe do you have a theory that you want to present us with or something you want to promote? Maybe a theory that you have that
no,
come on,
other
you're
than
always
my full presence. Well,
Excel spreadsheets. Just pick one at random.
when I have the time and when I do it behind closed doors, and I can actually sleep over it, then I
Yeah.
can manage to. No, but I don't have anything that I can actually blast right now. It would be very hard for me
What
to
about
do.
just putting forward an idea and we can play on it?
Okay, I might have a few questions, but well, actually, pretending you, I think that you're. It's hard for me to see your type as sleep last, for example.
Okay. Right.
Every time I watch you, I feel, and I'm not good at typing. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm bad at typing. Okay, but
Okay.
one thing that I'm sure of is that I see much more sleep in you than saying that you're sleep last.
Okay.
So I have this feeling that maybe you're not. So what do you think about it?
It's funny because I take myself as sleep first at the beginning.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
what I take
sense. I mean, okay,
myself. But I never really got a clear answer on it, and I still haven't accepted my animal typing, I guess.
okay,
It also doesn't make much sense to me, but the way I'm trying to see it at least is that what's your last stop? Like what's your final end goal, right? So consume might be the starting, and then maybe I'll play, and then I'll blast, and then at the end I'll go and sleep. Like, but I'll only sleep once I've done all those and I have something to actually sleep about, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I could be doing a lot of sleep. It's just I have to do all those first. But I'm not seeing it either. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. What about you? How do you see your sleep come in?
I see myself as someone who's doing a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
But this is how I've viewed myself, and the more I've realized what type I am, the more I've actually seen in reality how much I'm preoccupied with play and consuming. So my sleep is building, walking over these lists that I do and trying to define myself concepts and things that that can be useful to understand myself and people around me and the world and this phenomena of, you know.
Yeah, that's sleep for me too. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of weird because if you would go over my lists, you wouldn't understand any of it because it's very. I feel that the NI part of it is the.
I feel that too. That like I can jot down a whole bunch of stuff for myself, but then if I want to make it readable to other people, you have to put in a lot of energy to get it to that state.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I get like halfway done, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go work on my own new thing because it's a waste of time. You just want to keep.
And I'm doing it for myself. I mean, I want to understand it first for myself, and then maybe I'll read a book about it someday. You know,
exactly.
In 100 years or more. So
yeah, that's exactly what sleep is. It's doing it for yourself. It's the NITI is also going over those like narrowing down. The thing is like, but the thing is like when you're doing the consume, we're just such a no to so many things. We're challenging everything we're learning, just saying, I don't like that. I'm not accepting that. I'm not no. And we're like sort of organizing it while we're consuming it. But then once we go to sleep afterwards, we have all of these
so much
stuff that we've actually accepted. That's like we reject so much, but there's also stuff that we accept. And it's like, okay, how does all this fit together? How does this fit together with what I learned until now?
Totally. Yeah. Going over your words, the way I actually see my sleep is taking everything that I've learned and trying to put it in a unified system, which is, by the way, if I could choose something that I want to give to the world is exactly that. Taking everything that I've consumed, sleep over it, and actually put it into some kind of unified system, and then just blessing it to the world in a way that everyone could use it. So
yeah, exactly. So I feel like I'm doing that as well. Like you want to get all of that into a framework, and then once you start building it
and defining that framework, yes,
I'm missing a piece. How am I going to go get it? I'm missing this piece. I got to go get it, right?
Yeah. And this is not ready enough. There's still more to add on it.
It's not narrowed down enough. I can narrow it more. I can get rid of a lot of this nonsense.
I can both narrate and add more, and this is constant. I feel this as a constant tension. It's very hard for me to prescribe a training routine because I'm always asking myself, well,
it's not perfect yet.
It's not perfect yet, but it's not perfect in a way that there are too many exercises. Okay, so let me just go down to the very few basic exercises that everyone should do. Okay, so why don't we add another one here? And oh shit, now there are too many. So let me get something off, and it's like constant inner dialogue between myself of doing this, and this is the majority of my
state. Do you use words in that dialogue or not? It's wordless, right?
It is wordless. It feels like constructing, like physical construction. Yeah, like taking this part and putting this place, and yeah. So it's not about paragraphs or words.
Sometimes you can.
It's very visual. Yeah.
Sometimes too. Yeah. Okay. We can keep talking about this a little bit. I just wanted to say, like, the reason I came out to start doing interviews is because I was doing that sleep process, and I'm like, I'm missing all this information. Like,
what do you mean?
I'm missing OP, for example, right?
Okay.
So I was trying to learn OP, and I'm just missing so much information for my sleep. and I'm like, someone's got to go interview people. Like that's just what's got to happen. And
Yeah.
I was like thinking around, I'm like, who can I convince to go interview people? That no. And I'm like, damn, I got to go do it.
And that's where the play comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when the play kicked in. Right? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I got to go do it. Well, yeah, no choice, no way around it. Yeah.
I was just bothering other people on the forums and
Right. Yeah.
Dave
I
and
was,
Shem.
I was doing that. People don't really, I don't know. This format was, and then other people can consume it too. Like people are seeing that this is information that's missing. We need to consume it. And yeah,
you're creating content that other people.
Like this is what I was saying in the sleep process. I'm sure you feel the same way. Is that sometimes you're missing a piece. You're missing something to complete the.
My sleep does feel like constantly going over. There isn't enough. There's too much. There isn't enough. There's too much, and I have to find the perfect balance between the two, and the perfect way to maintain this balance.
Right, and then when things click, when things finally click, it's like, huh?
They never do.
But they go down one level at least. They get simpler.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. When I get to the the main concepts, then it feels like
right. It doesn't feel finished because you can still keep going, but like it gets simpler over time.
Yeah, it feels like yes, I've got it.
Right.
It's mine now. I can hold it in concepts. Exactly. So it's mine.
And then afterwards, once you've done that enough, and you go out in the world to play or to blast or stuff like that, then you have it
in your head, and
it feels like you built an engine that can actually drive you, and
this is how I do my my training. I don't quite train. I explain stuff. I teach other trainees how to train themselves. I actually kick them out of the training, not the training sessions, but I don't go with a certain trainer for more than 10 meetings, because I think that would be like ripping them off, because I can actually teach them from what I've consumed and what I've slept over. And I have this model, which I'm not the only one who's holding the same model. I mean, it's been confirmed by other people that it works. So I just want to pass it on. And I feel that this is actually my job, to find these things, consume, sleep over it, play over it, to actually see for myself if it does work and if it's valid, and then only then to blast it to other people. And this is my job. So I forgot how I got.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like it was a process of getting to that sleep, and then you can finally blast, I guess, after the sleep is done. Yeah. So it does like your sleep is just before the blast as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do view my blast as my main mission or goal in life, or in everything that I do. I mean, it's all about, I take all these things so I can actually act in the world and affect the world.
Yeah. So you asked about me. I think I'm just wondering if my play or blast is my main goal, but I think it's one of those two, to be honest.
Yeah. Although you do play a lot with other people. Yes, I mean, that's something that you do a lot. So
yeah. But just because you do it doesn't mean it's a savior.
Of course, but to an extent, I mean.
And the more you do it, the better you get at it.
So yeah. So, and then put on the confirmation bias. So, yeah.
Well, just throwing it out there. For me, play was something I had to learn to do, I think, with people. It was something that
definitely, yes.
I don't know. Did you also have to learn to play, like to figure out how to?
I view my life in periods. Like there was a certain time in my life that I was unable to communicate with other people sufficiently. I didn't know how to do it. And then I've just learned how to do it. I just put myself in situations that I just have to learn it. And then there was some time in my life that I didn't know how to get in touch with my feelings, for example. So I just put myself in situations that I just had to learn it. So yeah, both of these were something that I had actually had to work on myself.
Right.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be doing this otherwise.
For me, play came along. I read a book in high school that sort of taught me how to play, and I tried to practice it to see if it would work. And it took me a while. To get good at it. And by the time I did my first interview here, I was doing it for like 15, 20 years almost.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so like it doesn't feel like play, it just feels like a skill that I learned how to use.
Totally, yeah, yeah. I feel the same about lecturing, for example. I don't like lecturing, but I know how to do it. Well, I do like to lecture when I know what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Asa, for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
To talk to you again. Yeah. Have a good one.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.